In Iran, like anywhere else in the world, one of the major preoccupations of young people is to find a partner and get married. But in a country where the different sexes can't mix freely, meeting Mr. or Mrs. Right isn't easy. Behruz Dus Mohammadi has a brown belt in karate and a good job in an oil firm. He has one thing missing in his life, a wife. But he knows what he wants and is looking.
I
want a wife, but she has to be a sports fan. Not just to like it, but to do it too.
In his search for a wife, Dus Mohammadi is taking what on the face of it is a very un-Iranian option. He, along with 50,000 other singles, is signing up for a unique new service. This is the Amin Family Cultural Institute, Iran's first officially sanctioned internet dating agency. The uninitiated may call it a matchmaking service, but that term doesn't please the man who created and runs the agency, cleric Jafar Ardebili.
And I don't like matchmaker because we need matchmaker in
I don't like the word matchmaker. It smacks of my grandmother's time. That was okay in its way, I suppose, but that's not all that I do. Matchmaking is just an introduction, whereas I make sure that the match will work and follow them up as they go forward.
At 25 euros for a 6-month membership, even those on a small income can access singles of the opposite sex. But don't mistake this for a dating agency either. In true Iranian fashion, members are not allowed to date. But the process starts like many dating agencies around the world. Members fill in an online application form, which are scrutinized by other members searching for a partner.
She introduces herself like this: her name, family name.
Some of the questions are unique to Ardebili's agency.
And here it asks how much the parents will help and provide. The question is referring to the marriage.
Once this man's chosen a woman and she shows an interest in him, they'll be permitted to meet, but only for 30 minutes and only here at the Institute. If this works out and Cleric Ardebili is happy that they suit each other, they'll be allowed a further 1-hour meeting. Finally, they're allowed out of the Institute for one date, before 7 p.m. And that's it. They either marry or never see each other again. Most of these members are from conservative, traditional families. Even they, like so many in Iran, are experimenting with change.
The people who come here are mostly educated and fairly open-minded. We get a lot of women, as it's their opportunity to choose. Here they can choose for themselves, not wait for a man to come and say, "Will you marry me?" No, they want to say, "Mister, I want you," but with our help.
Ardebili is tapping into a new Iran. An Iran where about 75% of the population is under 30 and increasingly university educated. An Iran embracing his own type of modernity. He says his main ambition is to protect the role of the family in the face of this relentless modernization of society and rising divorce rates.
Iranians are moving from the traditional to the modern. And there are people in the middle, and they're somehow isolated from both sides. Here, in the Amin Center, we help traditional people to engage with the modern.
Coming from a conservative part of Iran, these two young students will not show their faces. In a patriarchal society like this, women from traditional families are used to following strict codes of conduct and not having choice. Yet in a break from tradition, they've flown across the country to see if Ardebili can help them choose the right husband for themselves.
زن و مرد نداریم.
Here, we don't have men or women. We only have members. Gender doesn't matter. If you're a man or a woman is not important to us. If a woman wants to choose a man, she can. If a man wants to choose a woman, he can. They can approach anyone they like.
یه ذره ژست مذهبی داره اما دوست داره به روز زندگی کنه. از یه طرف چادر میخواد، یه طرف هم چادر نمیخواد. یعنی دو زیسته میخواد. میدونی یعنی چی؟ یعنی دو شکله باشه، طرف بتونه طرف تو دو شکل باشه. خب دیگه بله. من اینا رو اول مشاوره میدم دیگه، دونه اینا رو مشاوره میدم. شاید منم یه چیزی بدونم آخه.
محمد علی نقیزاده است فکر کنم.
نقیزاده نه، گوش تلخه. خیلی گوش تلخه. مهم نیستش، درست میشه انشالله.
Today, fresh from his karate lesson, Dus Mohammadi is off to the Amin Institute. He's been a member for over 3 years and met over 30 women, though none so far have been what he's looking for.
What I want from my future wife is the perfect package. Ardebili asked what's the most important thing, but I can't say. Everything's equally important. I'm looking for the whole package. One of the things I want from my future wife is for her to live a modern life. What this means to me is that she's able to use the internet and speak languages. Of course we'll know she'll have one of the skills I'm looking for. She'll be able to use the internet, as that's how she contacted the institute.
This is his bi-monthly visit. Sometimes he gets picked up by girls, but this time he's seeing if there are any new members that spark his interest. And he's found one. He's hoping this woman will be his future bride.
از این چی دیگه خانم محمدپور رو ما میگیم پرونده شما رو ببینه. من پیشنهاد دادم. اصلا ایشون خبر نداره. ببینه پرونده شما رو، اگه نظرش مثبت بود ملاقات بگذاریم.
انشالله که خیلی بذار ما خواستیم پرونده. یا علی. قربان شما. شب شما. قربان شما عزت.
نگاه فلسفی دارم به این قضیه.
I like to look at this in a more philosophical way.
به دلیل ماشینی شدن زندگی مردم.
Technological progress in the 20th century has caused the institution of the family to change.
باعث شد که
Family structures are just not what they used to be before.
شما اگر فیلم‌های قبل از دهه 60 هالیوود رو ببینید،
Look at the Hollywood movies before the 1980s. They were all about family. Films like The Godfather, it was all about family. The father, the mother, the child. Then after that, it was all about the individual. Arnold, Rambo, one person messing up the whole world.
The idea of the institute came to Ardebili by chance. 7 years ago, while he was working at Tehran University, he met a very depressed Mahmoud. Mahmoud and Elahe met as children in Dubai. When Elahe was 18 years old and returned to Tehran, she and Mahmoud fell in love.
When Elahe went to Dubai, my mother asked me, "Is there anyone you like?"
Really, she just wanted us to reveal our secret. They had already guessed.
We were trying to keep it secret until we finished university and started work. Then we would be ready to tell people. But I couldn't keep it to myself and told them that I liked Elahe. When I confessed, that's when all hell broke loose.
The problem was Mahmoud's family disapproved. Elahe was 1 year older than him, and this was unacceptable to his conservative family. Mahmoud confided in Ardebili.
I told him there was no way he could help me and that he shouldn't worry about me, but he put his turban on the table and said, if by the end of the year I don't get your lady's hand in yours, I am not fit to be a cleric.
Keeping his word, Ardebili flew to Dubai, visited both families and eventually persuaded Mahmoud's parents to accept their son's decision. After 3 years apart, the couple were reunited.
Yes, I remember it so well.
Ardebili didn't achieve this alone. He enlisted his wife's help. After his success with Mahmoud, Ardebili set up the Amin Institute with his wife and family.
This can't be done without a spouse. If she is not next to you,
we got married 52 years ago. I was living in the countryside, in the Ardebili area, and his family were in Tehran. But his sister had come to our village and had seen me, and she told his dad. But when they came, asking for my hand, my father was not happy. But after a while he said yes. I didn't say yes. He did. I didn't say anything at all.
The boys didn't see the girls. They wouldn't know what each other looked like. They didn't speak to each other. Didn't know each other at all. I was asleep.
I was sleeping. You're talking rubbish.
I was just sleeping. Her sister called me and said, "Come into the other room and say yes." So I sleepily went through, and they said sign here and there. And then I said, "Is that it? Anything else?" And that was it. I went back to sleep.
But despite the number of members and marriages, it seems that Ardebili's work is still seen as a threat, as even some who met through Ardebili acknowledge.
I first heard about him when I read an interview in a newspaper. Reading it, I liked the sound of his type of work. I liked the idea that it had a scientific approach and that there was a psychologist involved. And also, I liked the idea that he was a cleric. I knew there was an Islamic thrust to his work, so I went to him with trust.
Her family were aware that she was a member of Ardebili's institute and that she met me through him, but my parents still don't know. It's going to take time for Iran to accept this kind of marriage. Even I, who married like this, if I hear Mr. So-and-so found his wife in this way, I still feel a bit shocked.
Sani's right. People in Iran still can't bear this kind of thing. So what does that mean? That I shouldn't do it? I will continue to do this. In 10, 20 or 50 years' time, there will be many others working with us or working like us, taking care of the families like we do.
Today, Ardebili is addressing the question with some of his members.
یا ما داریم کار خطا میکنیم. دو حالت بیشتر نداره. یا کار درست. اگه کار خطاست، من به شما حق میدم. کار خطا رو اصلا چرا پس مشارکت کردی؟ چرا اصلا اومدی نوشتی؟ چرا داری اقدام میکنی؟ اگه کار درسته، دیگه مفهوم نداره که وقتی متوسطی جامعه نپذیره، آدم ته دلش راضی نیست.
Ardebili's role as a cleric seems to make his work more palatable to his clients.
Outside of the issue of politics, men of the cloth are loved all over the world. People like clergymen. Some say that the clergy shouldn't be in politics or should be. Well, that's none of my business. But in this job, it's important. Being a cleric means that people will have trust in you.
However, he claims his work has nothing to do with Islam per se.
اصلا ازدواج مربوط به اسلام نیست. اصلا اینو چه من مسلمان باشم چه مسیحی.
Marriage has nothing to do with Islam. Whether I'm a Muslim, a Christian or a Buddhist, everyone needs a partner.
اسلام یا هر دین دیگه دقت کنید تو تمام مراسم ازدواج
In Islam or in any other religion, in all corners of the world, people invite the priest, the rabbi or the mullah to their wedding ceremony.
But many of his clients are religious and hope that their beliefs will be reflected in their future partner. This is certainly one of karate enthusiast Dus Mohammadi's criteria. The woman he is hoping to meet soon is religious and has some other characteristics that are important to him.
I'm somebody who is always on time and very organized. Everything is disciplined and precise. One of the questions was, how much importance do you give to punctuality? And she said it is very important to me. And I thought, aha, she's just like me.
Some member meetings with their potential spouse. At this point, they have to meet the center's psychologist. It's his job to ascertain if they are indeed suited for the next step, marriage. Dr. Ali Golzad and Ardebili pride themselves on what they say is their scientific approach to matchmaking.
خب از نظر تحصیلاتی شما فوق لیسانس داری درسته؟ ایشون تحصیلاتش چیه؟ دیپلمن. آیا احساس نمی‌کنی که این ناتوازنی در مدرک تحصیلی و شرایط علمی شما که ایشون دیپلمن حداقل 3 مقطع از شما پایین‌ترن؟ یعنی اگر ایشون دیپلم باشن فوق دیپلم، لیسانس و شما فوق لیسانس 3 مقطع پایین‌ترن. فکر نمی‌کنی این مشکل ساز باشه در آینده زندگیتون؟
حقیقتش من از مدت‌ها پیش در مورد این فکر کردم، چون من قبلا نامزد داشتم. نامزدم دانشجوی دکترای مهندسی مکانیک بود.
درست. ببینید توی مملکت ما دیدگاه کلی ازدواج دیدگاه سنتی.
In our country, people have traditional attitudes to marriage. This institute is trying to turn this attitude and make it scientific.
حالا ما سعی می‌کنیم با دیدگاه دادن، با شکل مطالعه دادن به سوژه ها.
What we're doing in this institute is both traditional and scientific. We're trying to explain this method to our members and make them aware of a more modern way of thinking. The questions I ask always have a hint of science in them. If I make them think scientifically and they get that way of thinking, then slowly, we will reach our aim.
After the day's work is over, Adibili turns to his ever-growing list of international clients.
الان یه دونه این ایمران در حقیقت رجانی
Right now we have this guy from Pakistan, we have Imran Raghani from Pakistan, Mohammed Faleh is from Kuwait, Ali Bahrani from Bahrain.
بله این خانم لن نگویم تهیان این ثبت نام کرده.
This is Miss Lan Nagoyan Favian. She signed up. She's from Thailand.
بعد در حقیقت ایشون از من خواست که
She wanted me to find a husband for her. At that time, a Japanese newspaper had done an interview with me, and Mr. Hokumoto signed up from Tokyo. I gave them each other's emails and said that each time they exchanged emails, they should forward copies to me. Then she married and moved on to Tokyo.
بودیستم هستن. چون بوداییه.
They're Buddhists. I don't know, perhaps they trusted me. Or maybe they liked that someone was willing to help. I don't know. We lost some of our pictures because one day our equipment just went boom.
It's all down to what he says is his research and analysis. In fact, Adibili believes his modern scientific method is foolproof, and the lack of divorces speaks to that. But where in all this modern methodology is there place for love?
Love, عشق و کلماتی از این جور چیزها
Love? We have two types of love.
Oh my love, oh my honey.
We have the oh my love, oh my honey, but this doesn't last.
فاندیشن قشنگی نداره. عشق وقتی درسته که عاقلانه شما آدمتو انتخاب کردی.
This isn't a good foundation, because spontaneously getting together can lead to spontaneously breaking up. Love is more about intelligently finding your partner, slowly getting to know them, and realizing that the choice was right.
Without love, you don't have the foundations on which to build. Not that love is everything, but it is a very important factor. You can't say that love alone is sufficient, but I don't think it would be normal to begin a marriage without it. I think it's certainly necessary, but it's not the only thing.
Ardebili thinks that perhaps Dus Mohammadi is giving too much thought to picking his wife.